Computer. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for being here. This is so exciting.
Oh, you're so welcome. I've never done anything like this, so I'm excited.
Neither have I. So this is good for us both, practicing sharing our journeys with each other.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
yeah, so everyone, Shannon is one of my first clients I ever had. She found me early on and she believed in me and we believed in each other. She came initially for relationship anxiety, and I'm going to ask her some questions today about the journey that we had together and some of the breakthroughs she's had so that you can hear it from her mouth and be inspired, because this is one of the most wonderful, beautiful women I've ever met. This is amazing.
Thank you. Making me
Yeah.
blush.
Oh, that's my job. Yay. So, where were you and how did you find me?
So, I think having kind of issues in terms of relationship OCD and anxiety have always been something I've carried throughout my relationships, but it was something that kind of flared up in my current relationship with the most amazing partner who is incredible, but my brain was on high alert saying, no, you don't want this, you don't love him, you can't be here. And I was a wreck. I couldn't function. I was just crying all the time and I couldn't eat or sleep, and it was disastrous. And I did what is really typical, I've learned, of ROCD, and I just turned to Google and I was finding every kind of possible thing about relationships you could find, and it was some really positive, some really negative, and then I happened to stumble across this term of relationship OCD, and I kind of like, I tick every box here. This is me to a T. I'm normal. I'm not completely mad. This isn't my relationship. There's just something not quite right here. And looking back, I really hope that was the moment it got better, but it was kind of just the start of a really long journey. And I read every book I could find and every blog and watched all the videos, and Instagram was probably the main place that I went for my relationship OCD kind of info. And I found some really cool pages with some amazing people, and I worked with a few therapists and people online that kind of specialized in the relationship OCD and anxiety field. And I felt like every time I was hitting a brick wall. And they're all amazing, and you just have to go on Instagram and see their pages and the communities they've built, and they're incredible. But there was just something not working for me, and I was kind of just I was so lost, and I didn't know what to do. And I happened to stumble across your page, Natalie, just completely by chance. And I thought, at this point, I've got nothing to lose. It could just be another one that I tick off and say I've tried and I've not gotten anywhere. Who knows? And I reached out, and that's kind of where we started. It was on Instagram. I saw originally your post about your relationship anxiety and OCD journey. That's the first one of your videos I saw. And it went from there, and I messaged you and you said you'd have a chat with me, and that's kind of where it started, really.
Yes, we had a little consult over Instagram video because I didn't have any software like Zoom. Yes, great. So what did you expect our work to look like when you first came in?
If I'm completely honest, I expected to have maybe a couple of calls and to just think this isn't working. Like, I'm not going to get anywhere, and this is just the same pattern I keep falling into. But there's that part of me that was really hoping that I could just have a conversation with someone that understood where I was coming from, and not just kind of from a therapist's point of view with the standard, oh, that must be so hard, and how does that make you feel? I needed more than that, because there's only so much you can kind of probe yourself without needing someone to pull the information up from you, because sometimes you just get stuck in a rut. So I was really just hoping that I wanted someone to solve all my problems and take them all away. Being being realistic, I just wanted someone I could have a conversation with that got me, that could help me understand that what I was feeling was normal and it was okay and it wasn't the end of my relationship. And that's really what I came in looking for. And that's definitely what I got.
Yes, it's really helpful to, I know when I hire coaches and I hire therapists, I do work with therapists and I do work with coaches and I work with meditation teachers. I feel most comfortable personally working with someone who's already been through something similar and they're not just going off of like a clinical book structure.
Yeah.
And
It,
yeah.
here in the UK, we just don't have the resources in terms of things like relationship OCD. It's becoming more known, but
Yes.
when you say to someone, my brain's telling me I need to leave my partner, and even a trained therapist here, their usual response is, well, you should maybe leave your partner. And when you've got this conflicting part of your brain that's going, but I really don't want to, and I love them and they're great for me, and then another part saying you really need to leave, it's horrible hearing someone in a position of, I guess, trust and a professional position saying maybe you do need to leave.
Yes. Well, I mean, it is understandable because we come from this culture that tells us everything we think. You know, we're smart people. We have this ability to think and logically come up with ideas. And sometimes humans come up with amazing ideas. So therefore, we assume that the thoughts we have must be genius and they must be
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like I say very often on Instagram and such, and with my clients, is we're starting to understand now, both through this work and also just through people's experiences, that sometimes thoughts are not actually true. And sometimes thoughts are just a like signpost that points to something deeper than that. And really the thoughts, especially the really more intrusive types of thoughts, as Cheryl Paul would say, the more intrusive types of thoughts are usually like a messenger or an envelope, just the surface layer of what's really going on. And if you can almost find some distance from the thoughts, you'll find yourself in the realm of something much, much more deep and profound that has nothing to do with your partner, but is manifesting on the surface as an issue with your partner.
Yeah. And I think it should be noted that one of ROCD or relationships anxiety's favorite things to do is to make you question whether it is a relationship OCD or relationship anxiety. So you read all these posts and you think, oh my God, I identify with that, but I don't identify with that so much, but maybe I don't even have OCD at all and I do need to leave my partner. And it can be really isolating. So finding actually that I wasn't alone and then finding really helpful resources, and particularly finding you, has really helped in my journey to realize that I'm not alone and it's just part of really most relationships. Everyone has relationship anxiety.
Everyone does. Everyone will go through it at some point or another. Our thinking brain is one of our biggest strengths, and it's because it's so strong and so powerful and so able to question everything that it will lead to our own demise if we let it.
Yeah.
Yes. So so you came in expecting more of me just saying, I hear you, I understand how you feel. How does that make you feel? And then what did the work actually end up looking like for you?
Well, I know people are really against kind of developing, or they say you shouldn't have a friendship with your therapist or whoever you work with on that kind of level. But I really felt that there was just such an openness with our work, that you would tell me stories about your journey and your process, and that made it so much more relatable, and it made me comfortable to open up. Because if I'm sat with a therapist and they're just kind of ticking away at a piece of paper and nodding their head, then it doesn't feel like they get it, and they make me personally feel a bit mad and a bit insane. So having that kind of really nice conversation, even just having a chat about the weather here or the weather there, and that kind of friendly level was really lovely. And then when it got down to doing the real work of kind of going deeper within myself, I've really wanted to be able to meditate and go deeper into myself, and I've just never been able to do it. I always thought, this is stupid. There's that voice in my head saying, oh, this isn't working. You're
Same
wasting
voice.
time. Yeah, that same voice that doesn't want me to be in my relationship also doesn't want me to meditate. But I felt with you that you had such patience, and I just felt this real trust with you, that going deeper within myself and you guiding me through that was not easy. It's never supposed to be easy, but it became something that I was more willing to do, something I was more willing to be open to. And we got to some real kind of, we went deep at times, really deep, and we pulled out things that I'd never thought about, and things I didn't think would bother me, but actually they probably were more than I realized. And it was never pressured, and it was, you never put thoughts in my head. It was you guiding me through that process that made it easy. It made it kind of, or easier, made it comfortable. Yeah, and I discovered a lot about myself even within a few sessions together.
That's so beautiful. I know this is kind of off the trail a little bit, but would you be willing to share, if you can think of one? And I know I didn't prepare you for this one, but would you be willing to give an example of maybe a discovery or a realization, just in generic terms, that you had?
Yeah.
The things that you pulled up?
So there was one thing that I remember us talking about, and I don't think I ever actually fully explained the story to you, but I've said throughout my life, I will always try and find a silver lining in every situation, something good out of a bad situation that makes you kind of reflect on it and maybe not regret it so much or not hate it so much, so you don't look back at it kind of negatively. But there was one situation that we kind of discussed while we were doing our meditation that I realized, actually, I've got no silver lining for this situation. There's no way I can put a spin on this to make myself not look at it negatively, to make myself feel okay about it, because it was a really bad situation. There is nothing good about it. So that was something I'd never realized before, that situation had such a negative impact on me, and was going to not remain that way, but I wasn't going to be able to find a kind of scapegoat out of it. I'd have to just accept those negative feelings and the anger and the upset and the frustration. I just had to accept those feelings and let them be there and not try and chase them away.
Mm-hmm. And what did that mean? How did that change the course of the future for you?
That it's okay to be angry, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay not to try and rewrite the past, because I can't change that situation, and I can't spend the rest of my life trying to find some good in it, because there isn't any. So it's that acceptance and realizing that situation was bad and letting the feelings be there is great, because I'm sure it's had an impact on the way I view relationships and kind of trust. So now knowing that, okay, that really bad situation's happened, there's nothing I can do to change it, and I felt the feelings that needed to be felt, it's made a big difference.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like the silver lining was you learned how to accept that sometimes there's no silver lining.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah,
that was the lesson.
Like yeah. I can look back at that situation now and think, okay, I've learned that some situations just are crappy.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And so how has this work impacted your experience in your relationship now?
So I've learned so much about realistically looking at relationships, because I think even not realizing it and subconsciously you kind of jump into a relationship, and particularly at the beginning, if you have a honeymoon and it's wonderful, you want it to feel like that all the time. So I think I came into relationship thinking, well, he needs to make me feel good all the time, and this is supposed to feel good all the time, and actually that's really not true. it's not his job to make me happy. It's my job, and he can be the kind of, you know, the icing on top of my cake to make that happiness even better. But sometimes he is really going to annoy me. Sometimes he's going to do something stupid that's really going to annoy me, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the relationship. And that is the kind of reality of it, is being with someone even through those moments when they've upset you or angered you. If you're in a healthy relationship, that just kind of comes with the territory. So yeah, learning that and doing the work and learning what real relationship looks like and what real love looks like has been really important. And I now have kind of learned to communicate better with my partner, because we're both quite strong. So sometimes we'd butt heads, and it's about taking a step back and thinking, you know, how can I handle this situation better? So if there is conflict, my brain isn't immediately going to run to, I need to leave, I don't love him. If I loved him, I wouldn't feel this way. And generally I feel happier. I feel like I've got a weight lifted off my shoulder. But I'm realistic, and I'm sure that there'll be days where it's bad and we could have a massive fight, and I just think, oh my God, I can't do this. But that's normal. And learning that what I was thinking and what I was feeling is normal has had such a kind of just a positive impact on my relationship, that I think, because I've been with my partner throughout the whole ROCD journey, and I think he could look back to where I was a year ago and think, wow, you're a different person in the way you handle your feelings and the way you're thinking. So it's had a good impact, and I look forward to seeing him. And I know that if I don't want to kind of be kind of with him all the time, it's okay. If I don't miss him, it's okay. You know, I've learned about real relationship, which has been really a blessing.
Awesome. Yes. And it's almost like we have, even if we're not in a relationship, if you're single, you have days where you annoy yourself and you piss yourself off. And you're like, why are you so stupid? Why did you do that, Natalie? Why did you do that, Shannon? You know,
I don't think I've ever met anyone as annoying as me. So.
Yes. So in the same way that life will annoy us and circumstances will annoy us, and we will annoy ourselves, or our pets will annoy us, so will our partners. And these are always wonderful opportunities for us to learn more about ourselves and how we react and how we feel in certain dynamics. And a lot of times when a trigger arises, the trigger is just the icing on the cake. The cake is where the work is. It's like deep in the inside. And you can say, oh, when that happened, when you said that thing or you did that thing, I felt the same way that I felt 10 years ago when this happened. And that really hurt. And I still haven't processed that, actually, which is why. So when you start putting the pieces together like that, it's very exquisite, and you become grateful for the triggers too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've learned a lot about myself as well as myself in relationship. I've learned that I can be pretty irritable at times, and I'm starting to notice that before it leads to conflict. And just events from my past that I'd kind of brushed under the carpet because I didn't have time to deal with them in the past I think now have come back to bite me. But it's also taught me so much. It's as like, I'm speaking as someone that was in the complete kind of depths of ROCD about a year ago. I never thought I'd come out the other side. And like I said, it's not ever going to be perfect, but no relationship is. And learning that has been just such a pivotal thing for me, because I know there are people here that will be listening and thinking, well, I want my relationship to be all sunshine and rainbows, but that would be so boring. Really, if it felt good all the time, it would be so boring, because that's just not reality. And learning that love isn't like that, now I can look back and think I was thinking nonsense almost a year ago, thinking it was going to feel good all the time. So learning the reality has just been so powerful for me.
If it were all sunshine and rainbows, it would be boring. Yummy.
It would be boring. And then when the storms come, it's just, they're even worse. We can deal with a little bit of rain here and there, but
yes.
Yeah.
Yummy. Yummy. Thank you so much. That is so profound and wise of you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes. Well, is there anything else you would like to share with someone that maybe is where you were a year ago?
that, I guess, as much as you just cannot see light at the end of that tunnel, I promise it is there and you will get there. And, you know, reassurance seeking, I know you go on the ROCD pages and things, and they say, don't reassurance seek, it's terrible. But, you know, you're human. So don't kind of feel bad if you've sought that kind of reassurance, and it will get better is really all I want to say. And just have a realistic idea of relationship, and I would just highly recommend anyone to give you a message to start working with you, because it was the best decision I ever did messaging you on Instagram.
I'm so touched to hear you say that. Thank you, Shannon.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna wrap up. If you guys like this video, let us know. And I'm so grateful that you were here. Um, yeah, we're gonna wrap this up.
Thank you for having me. You're so welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. All right. Bye, Shannon.
Bye.